Nifty Sensex hit record high. Sensex touches 83,000 for the first time. All sectors end in green, most gains led by the auto pack. Oil companies might consider cutting fuel prices if crude remains low for an extended period, says Oil Secretary Pankaj Jain. Auto majors welcome the new PM e-Drive scheme. M&M, Maruti Bajaj Auto, Eicher Motors gain between 1 to 4%. Maruti Suzuki launches its classic hatchback Swift in a CNG model, starting at a price of 8.2 lakh rupees. 80% of Indians communicate on WhatsApp for business, and over 60% prefer WhatsApp for business communication. We tell you how WhatsApp is changing the way small businesses operate. In a relief for Adani Power, the Supreme Court lifts the stay by NCLAT on acquisition of Coastal Energen. Drug regulator DCGI has suspended Entot Pharma's permission to manufacture and sell its eye drops, which claim to replace reading glasses. CPI inflation for August is expected to ease further to a 5-year low as food prices decline. On one hand, a part of the ambitious coastal road is opened up, and on the other, Mumbai's infra continues to remain a pain point for commuters. Good evening, you're watching Profit 360 on NDTV Profit, and I'm your host Himakshi Bahuguna. As always, this show aims to bring you market headlines along with national and international news. But before we move on to the show, it's time to see how the markets performed today. Both the benchmarks hit record high, while Nifty Metal closed at the top as the top sectoral gainer. My colleague Neeraj Shah is joining us for a quick market wrap. Neeraj, over to you.
Exhilarating day with the markets ending at record highs. But the moot point is the way the indices moved in the last, let's say, 1.5 hours of trade. The intraday of the Nifty will show you that sharp uptick that we saw in the last maybe 90 odd minutes, circa 90 odd minutes of trade. Sharp up move there. Now, it could have been the point about China likely to cut rates on mortgages in order to help the ailing real estate sector, or that we are moving ever so closer to the rate cut cycle for global central banks. Remember, ECB cuts and then the Fed rate cuts, very likely Fed rate cuts will also come in. So it could be multiple reasons, but there's a sharp surge there. It'll be very interesting to see the kind of flows that have happened in the session today. Mid caps and small caps didn't participate with as much gusto, but naturally, so on days of sharp upswings and money flowing to large caps, mid caps and small caps tend to lag. Even so, about 1.14% for the mid cap and about 0.75% or 7.8% for the small cap index. So you couldn't find points or places to complain. Now bring up the heat map of the Nifty. I would argue all 50 stocks were in the green. Yes, there was a Nestle which was 0.11% in the red. A really sharp up move from the start of the trading day today. Maximum stocks were in the green. But then the way the metal stocks participated with Hindalco, or commodity stocks essentially. Hindalco participated. There was ONGC up in trade, Tata Steel, JSW Steel, all in the green. Then IT had its share, but others like Bharti Airtel, NTPC, Eicher. So very wide bucket of stocks participating. And even HDFC Bank and Reliance contributing to gains today, not in the negative, and therefore didn't drag the index down lower too much, which was a good thing. The broader end of the spectrum punctuated by gains to newsmakers predominantly. So if the BSE 500 gainers and losers list will also come up on your screen, you will see this. Engineers India, they had a presentation about what the company will do going ahead. 8% higher. Century Textiles, 3 days on a trot, doing very well for itself after buying that piece of land in Worli. There was strength in FDC. Volumes today, some block deals that have happened. So big buying that happened here. Kalyan Jewellers, there was a brokerage note today from HSBC upping the target price significantly. Another 5% for a Gujarat Fluoro in the session today as well. Something regarding EV and subsidiaries thereof. On the losing side, Granules had a 16% downtick on supposed strict observations coming in from the US FDA, some cooling off for a Prism Johnson, Raymond continues to go down, Phoenix Mills, etc. But really, the day belonged to the gainers in the session today and not the losers. The question only is now that we've hit all-time highs and done it with such gusto, is there more steam left to close the week on a high tomorrow? Remains to be seen, but I'll keep a particular eye on metals in particular from within the commodity pack as well, because that is one bucket that you got to watch out for if indeed there are moves happening in China, because that's a space that will directly get impacted and even sentimentally so. So that's one space to keep an eye out for, but no complaints today. Fantastic day of trade from a bull's perspective. Let's see if there is more in store.
Now let's move on to the IPO space. PN Gadgil Jewellers IPO opened on September 9 and has been subscribed almost 58 times on its third day. Bids were led by retail investors. The IPO consists of a fresh issue of 1 crore and 77 lakh shares priced at 850 crore rupees. While the offer for the sale of 52 lakh shares is worth 250 crore rupees, the jewellery company plans to use the funds raised through this IPO for setting up 12 new stores in Maharashtra and to repay loans. Secretary of Petroleum and Natural Gas Pankaj Jain has hinted at a reduction in fuel prices. He said that oil marketing companies may cut fuel prices if the crude oil prices remain low for an extended period of time. This comes after Brent crude fell its lowest level since December 2021, after OPEC Plus revised its demand forecast for 2024 and 2025. A day after the new PM e-Drive scheme was announced, Heavy Industry Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy clarified that there would be a provision of e-vouchers. This is to minimize problems buyers face while getting subsidies for their electric vehicles. Here's an explanation.
Before they purchasing the vehicle, they have to actually show the other verification. After the other verification, with the SMS e-voucher, they will get it. Through that e-voucher, customer and dealer, both of them signing that voucher, they will put it into upload it on portal. After their upload on the portal, these customers receives confirmation SMS from the portal. From there actually, this customer will going to upload his selfie on portal, then delivery of vehicle he will going to get it. This is the scheme in this actually newly we addition, because previous days he doesn't know about the subsidy. Subsidy was actually given directly to the manufacturer. For this actually this time we introduced this modification in this subsidy actually.
Auto majors have welcomed the PM e-Drive scheme, and so did the markets. Anish Shah of M&M applauded the government for launching the scheme. He added that with the continued focus support, the scheme will drive higher EV penetration in the country. He foresees India becoming the first country to achieve 100% electrification in this segment by 2030. Girish Wagh of Tata Motors believes that this scheme will accelerate India's journey towards zero-emission mobility. We also spoke to Mahesh Babu of Switch Mobility about the scheme and Nishant Arya of JBM Auto about how they aim to build on the momentum. Listen in.
Already we have a product for about 25-seater to about 65-seater in the market. We are the only and unique OEM to have a double-decker electric with air condition running in the country that has about 65 seats. And we have a range between 20 to 65. Our intention in the next 3 years is to play in all the fields from 13-seater to 65-seater. As you know, we have also light commercial vehicles, which is Switch IV3 and 4. We have about 6 to 7 products in the market. We are looking at bringing every year about 2 products in the next 3 to 5 years to meet the customer requirements.
So I think definitely. So today also we are at about 35 to 40% market share with our current order book and projects executed on ground across the country. So definitely we would be looking forward to harness this opportunity, because about 40% plus of the whole scheme of 10,900 crores has been allocated for 14,028 buses, which is the most substantial part. And at the same time, it's quite heartening to see that new segment of electric trucks and e-ambulances have also been introduced here.
Maruti Suzuki's hatchback Swift gets a CNG version. This is in line with the company's sustainability and green mobility goals. The company has already said that it will launch electric cars next year. Here's what Maruti Suzuki's Partho Banerjee had to say.
पहले भी हमने ना ये स्विफ्ट सीएनजी हमारे पास थी जब हमने लॉन्च किया था नया स्विफ्ट मई के महीने में टोटल सेल्स का तकरीबन 15% हमको सीएनजी वेरिएंट से मिलता था सेल्स। तो अभी हम जो नया वाला लॉन्च कर रहे हैं पहली चीज है कि इसकी जो माइलेज है 33 किलोमीटर ही मान के चलिए पर केजी देती है, बेस्ट इन द क्लास है, माइलेज है आपकी है। दूसरी बात है हमने पिछले वाले से 6% इसकी माइलेज बढ़ा दिया है।
WhatsApp has intensified its reach among small and medium-sized businesses in India, with over 80% of Indians using WhatsApp for business communication. I'm joined by my colleague Maitri to give us a comprehensive breakdown from the sidelines of the WhatsApp Business Summit event.
We are at the WhatsApp Business Summit, and this time a lot of focus is being made on promoting SMEs through the platform. Amongst the fewer initiatives that have been recently launched by WhatsApp, one is WhatsApp Bharat Yatra, in which WhatsApp will train above 20,000 SMEs in India for using WhatsApp for their businesses and in a much better way. AI-backed assistant tools are also launched, like for example, fresher features on voice assistants are coming up for these SMEs to get a better experience on WhatsApp, and not just to engage with clients and their customers in a better way, but also to engage within the organization in a much better format. Apart from that, what is happening here is a lot of fresh data has been cited to understand that how Indians are reacting to WhatsApp when it comes to handling their own businesses. According to a fresh data revealed today, over 80% Indians are actually using WhatsApp for their business transactions, among which above 60% prefer WhatsApp over other platforms for their businesses. Apart from that, a lot of focus is also being made in creating blue tick accounts. Especially SMEs accounts will now have a blue tick feature from Meta, which will not just give more visibility and not just provide brand building to these enterprises, but it will also power them with a lot many efficiency tools that will help them in growing their businesses. Now, lot of firms have already shared their experiences out here. HDFC Bank, Policy Bazaar, Slur Farm, these enterprises, banks, everybody has talked about how WhatsApp has helped them in dealing with their customers in a better way, and also help them in reducing operating costs and boosting their top line. For instance, companies like Apollo 24/7 have reported a sharp growth in their test orders per day because of WhatsApp. Other instances that were shared today were how Maruti Suzuki has witnessed a significant surge in its test drive bookings because of this. Well, there is a lot more to understand and see out here because the event is not yet over.
Time for an NDTV Profit exclusive. SBI stake sale in Yes Bank has hit roadblock. This is because the RBI is said to be against selling majority stake to a foreign buyer. My colleague Subhana Sheikh now joins us with more details about this exclusive report.
SBI stake sale in Yes Bank has now reached in a limbo. According to a source, a couple of Japanese banks had shown interest in terms of buying stake in Yes Bank. However, this deal has now hit a roadblock because RBI has not yet received a fit and proper check of this deal. Some context to this, back in 2020 when the whole Yes Bank fiasco had happened, State Bank of India had stepped in and bought stake in Yes Bank. A couple of other banks had also bought stake. Now SBI has been trying to offload this stake for some time now. That is why these Japanese banks were showing interest. However, the RBI is, the whole stake sale deal has now hit a roadblock. The stake sale was supposed to happen by the end of this financial year. However, now this seems like it has been delayed.
With the recession overhang on Wall Street, equities across the globe are feared to be less favorite of an asset class. Bonds, on the other hand, can be a great alternative for an investor. Infrastructure bonds as well offer stable returns, or National Bank for Financing Infrastructure and Development is a development finance institution which issues infra bonds. My colleague Subhana exclusively spoke to the MD of NABFID at their annual infrastructure conclave, and she started by asking about the newer issues or newer fundraising plans.
We will be raising about 53,000 crores during the year, that is 24-25. After that, 2 tranches we have done. So we expect that every quarter 1 or 2 tranches will be raising. Very difficult to put a date on that because it is depending on the requirement. Because we have already fine-tuned the system. We need only 10 days. Like when we have the demand, within 10 days we can raise the money. So we have already streamlined that process. So it is difficult to put a date, but then you can say that every quarter will be raising at least 2 times, 2 tranches. That is because we have a sanction pipeline and the disbursements are also planned.
So do you see offshore investors, especially foreign wealth funds, increasing their investments in infrastructure sector in India?
It's already happening actually. If you look at the InvIT structure, basically InvITs have happened mainly on the road side. InvITs have happened on the solar and other renewable side. InvITs have happened in a big way on the transmission side. While others are still evolving, but these 3 we see. And if you see the structures, we see a lot of foreign funds already taking a huge equity stake in these funds. So this is already happening. There is nothing new in this. It is already there.
Okay. And so when can we expect more long-term bonds? You've been raising funds through 15-year, but can we see more 30, 35-year long-term bonds given that infrastructure, there's been government's thrust on infrastructure?
I would love to do that because actually as the country is evolving towards long-term saving, actually I mentioned it many times, in India, the household savings are moving in different directions. Actually, insurance, PF and pension is also attracting a lot of investments. They are growing at very high double digits now. The assets under management under this is crossing actually 115 lakh crores as of now, which is more than 50% of the scheduled bank deposits. So necessarily they have to invest in long-term bonds. So I think as the requirement comes up, because maybe this market had not evolved to that extent, because the government was only issuing these 20, 30, 50-year bonds. There was no other player which was capable of issuing. We did a 20-year bond issuance now, and the response was very tremendous. So we are very convinced that there is a space for this, and we as an institution like us evolve. Like even commercial banks can do that, because as they build a book of long-term financing, because now the asset liability for them is more of 1-year deposits, so they're difficult to take a long-term call. But if they raise infra bonds of 20-25 years, then they also can then long-term like us basically. So we see that as the asset class under infra is evolving with the 25 to 35-year concession agreements, so definitely the requirement is emerging, and even municipal bonds for that matter, they will also come in that 5-10 year space. So we'll see more issuances, and there is appetite for that. So we are also playing that role of facilitating this, but we'll see in next 2-3 years this ecosystem will evolve for long-term bonds also.
Okay.
Supreme Court sets aside NCLAT order that temporarily halted Adani Power-led consortium's 3,333 crore rupees resolution plan. For more, I'm joined by Varun Gakhar. Varun, take us through the top court's judgment.
That's right. So a little background before we delve into the details of what has happened before the top court today. Now in August this year, the NCLT gave a go-ahead to the Adani Power-led consortium's resolution plan for the debt-ridden Coastal Energen Private Limited. Now this meant that the consortium's resolution plan for the Coastal Energen's 1200 megawatt project in Thoothukudi, Tamil Nadu stood approved. However, on the first day of the appeal hearing before the NCLAT ordered a status quo ante on the resolution plan, causing the plan to suffer a setback. The NCLAT's interim order temporarily halted the acquisition process, relinquishing the project's operations back from the consortium to the erstwhile resolution professional. Now, as a result of the top court order today, the consortium will continue its operation at the 1200 megawatt plant situated in Thoothukudi, Tamil Nadu. The court said that the NCLAT order suffered from inconsistencies and has directed the appellate tribunal to hear the case for final disposal on September 18. The court has also stated that the counsels appearing for the parties will not seek any adjournment when the case comes up for a hearing. In addition, the court has clarified the consortium will not dismantle the plan nor create any third-party rights. It was further clarified that the court was not commenting on the merits of the case as of now and that no equity shall be claimed by way of the court's order.
Paytm founder Vijay Shekhar Sharma told investors that the payment aggregator was committed to meeting compliance standards. Here's what he said.
मुझे गर्व है अपनी टीम पर जो पिछले 6 महीने में बहुत सारे लेसन्स लर्न करने के बाद, बहुत सारे अपने काम करने के बाद इस तरीके से स्ट्रॉन्ग और रेजिलेंट होकर बिजनेस में आगे बढ़ रही है। पिछले 6 महीने हमारे लिए बहुत सारी लर्निंग रही। हमारे को अपने बिजनेस प्रोसेस में, हमारे को अपनी कंप्लाइंस के प्रोसेस में, हमारे को अपने काम करने के तरीके में पूरी तरह से डीप डाउन, इनसाइड आउट देखने का मौका मिला। मैं बड़े अश्योरिंग तरीके से आपको ये बता सकता हूँ कि टीम के लिए अब कंप्लाइंस फर्स्ट अप्रोच है। नाउ वी आर टॉकिंग कंप्लाइंस फर्स्ट बिजनेस, अ बिजनेस दैट टेक्स केयर ऑफ एवरी रेगुलेशन फुल्ली एंड इन लेटर एंड स्पिरिट, यानी कि ना सिर्फ वो जो शब्दों में कहा गया है बट उसका जो इंटेंशन है हम उसका भी ख्याल रखते हैं।
Let's also look at Prestige Estates. Earlier today, we spoke to Chairman and Managing Director Irfan Razak. We spoke about the recent 5,000 crore fundraise and what is the outlook for the company. Listen in to a chunk of that conversation.
The thing is, the lands are already there. We've got in the pipeline where lands are tied up, plans have been done, plans have been locked in for approvals. To the extent of almost 60 million square feet, which will eventually land us up with 60,000 crores of top line. Now, this is not something future. This is already what we have in our pocket and what we can bring to the market. Now, where is the gap? The gap is that there is a huge approval process, and this process has its own timelines. And if I acquire any land today, to bring it to the market takes between 12 to 18 months. So we've been working relentlessly to see that all these projects come to the market and get launched. And once they get launched, then the entire churn keeps happening. Now, this QIP money which we have raised is for future to buy, to invest into more properties so that the pipeline increases, because we just can't sit back and say, okay, I've got this pipeline and I have to keep fueling that pipeline to see that newer projects come in. So we have already listed out in our regulatory filing the list of properties that we are intending to invest in. And if those get invested, this money will get utilized properly.
India's retail inflation is expected to ease further to its lowest level in 5 years. This comes on the base effect and continuing decline in food pressures. Pallavi brings us the key numbers.
India's retail inflation fell to the lowest in 5 years for the month of July, and for the month of August, it's expected that it will ease further still. Retail inflation is expected to come in at 3.42% for the month of August, and that's compared to 3.54% that we had seen in July. This forecast is according to a Bloomberg poll of economists. Now, if that happens, it will be the lowest print since August 2019. And it will be the second time since September 2019 that inflation will be within the RBI's target of 4%. To be sure, we did see inflation in January 2021 as well, coming close to the target at about 4.1%. Now, while this easing is largely on the back of the base effect, it's also because of some sequential moderation that we have seen in vegetable prices. For the month of August, prices of onions as well as potatoes saw a rise on an annual basis, but tomato prices fell on an annual basis. Meanwhile, on a sequential basis, we saw tomato prices see a fairly sharp correction in August. That's compared to the month of July. Potato and onion prices did not see much of a change.
The European Central Bank is expected to cut rates for the second time this year. The central bank will cut rates by 0.25% according to reports. Cooling inflation and sluggish growth are the reasons for this second round of rate cuts. This comes ahead of the US Fed's rate cuts expected later this month. Let's turn our focus to infrastructure in the country's financial capital now. On your screens are two sets of videos that tell you the tale. One of the latest stretch of the ambitious coastal road that was inaugurated in Worli today. The other of a huge hole that developed in an arterial road in Prabhadevi in the heart of Mumbai. Let's first take a look at the Coastal Road project, one of the two arch bridges open today. The arch bridge connects the coastal road to the Bandra-Worli Sea Link. Travel time from Marine Drive to to Bandra would be reduced to 20 minutes from 1 hour earlier. So NDTV's Radhika Ramaswamy went there and filed this report.
Another phase and portion of the ambitious infrastructure project of Mumbai Coastal Road connectivity has opened. This is bowstring arch bridge that connects the end of Worli to Worli sea face that has opened up for commuters. In fact, this is the beginning of this particular bowstring arch bridge, which will be connecting Coastal Road all the way to Bandra-Worli Sea Link. This is where the bridge starts after vehicles exit at Coastal Road in Worli. Travel time, in fact, is just about a minute on this particular bridge. What used to take about 5 to 7 minutes after exiting on Worli and going all the way to Worli Sea Face has now reduced. In fact, what used to take about 5 to 7 minutes has reduced to less than a minute.
But the city continues to battle infrastructure woes. A sinkhole appeared in Prabhadevi today when a portion of the road caved in. A car got stuck in the sinkhole. Luckily, no one was injured. The Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation are yet to respond on what caused the sinkhole. Let us shift our focus to sports. Virat Kohli set to break another all-time record of the little master Sachin Tendulkar. And this is not a small record that he's about to break. If Kohli scores 58 or more runs in his next 8 innings, he will become the first cricketer in 147 years to reach 27,000 runs in less than 600 innings. Currently, Sachin Tendulkar holds the tag of the fastest 27,000 runs, which he achieved in 623 innings. But in the upcoming India versus Bangladesh Test Series match in the World Test Championship, Kohli has a chance to create history. He will break the second record after breaking Sachin Tendulkar's record of most centuries scored in ODIs last year. Cricket enthusiasts are filled with anticipation. They want the cricketer to achieve this milestone before his 600th innings. CPM leader Sitaram Yechury passed away in AIIMS, Delhi today. He was 72 years old and had been battling respiratory illness. A member of the CPM's top decision-making body for over 30 years, he was also a member of the Rajya Sabha from 2005 to 2017. That's all the time we had on this edition of Profit 360. Stay tuned to NDTV Profit for more news and updates.